Hi, it's Coppernosis with another interesting video for you. Today I was going to talk about something that is called Black Wall Street. And the video is I think it's going to be titled something about Black Wall Street. It's not the Mandela effect. Because I was watching another YouTuber, and I can't remember because it was a while ago. I've kind of started coming into information a few years ago. Most people weren't really interested, and it was hard to talk to other people. Now that I'm making this video, other people are more interested in more of the topics. It's more prevalent or something in the society where we're waking up a little bit more, and so people are becoming more interested. And so anyway, this lady was doing this video about, and I don't know her name, I don't remember her name. She's actually really interesting. She has a lot of good topics. But she said, oh, what is this Black Wall Street? I never heard of that. What is it, a Mandela effect? And I'm like, wait, what? It's not the Mandela effect. And then when you say that kind of stuff, it kind of of course, we've already been blown off as black people our whole lives, or for hundreds of years. So for somebody that's kind of doing stuff that's interesting to just blow it off and be like, that's not, I've never heard of that. So, and it's kind of easy to check into and find out that it's a true thing. And it was the biggest massacre in our history, and it was only happened in 1921. So the 100-year anniversary is going to be coming up. There was also a thing called the Red Summer in 1919. So we're at the 100-year anniversary for that, right? The Red Summer, where there was so many race riots that they called it the Red Summer because there were so many people killed. And it was a lot of black people, because when you look into okay, we're going to talk about this Black Wall Street. Black Wall Street was in Oklahoma, and it was Oklahoma, I think it's Greensboro, pretty sure. Sorry if it's wrong, but if you look up the Black Wall Street, it's one of the biggest stories in American history. And of course, in high school, did we ever hear about it? No, because it was a bunch of black people getting killed. And I also believe black people are Native American, and I have another video about that if you're interested, and I'll probably talk more about that in this video as well, because it actually has something to do with why black people can do so well in America, and why they don't want people to do well, because then they're just going to figure out who they are. The big cover-up's going to be gone. So these people in this place in Oklahoma, it was in Tulsa, somewhere in Tulsa. They had another name for it, Greensboro, but it was in Tulsa. And, of course, Oklahoma was the end of the Trail of Tears for, Native Americans, right? So that was one of the big places. So that means as us, because if you look at some places, well, we'll get more into that. But, okay, so black people had this town that they created, and it was a thriving town, and they called it Black Wall Street because they were making so much money. This town was doing so well. There was oil wells. There was 6 black families that had their own planes. I guess there was 2 airports there, but these families had their own private planes. These 6 families, or 6 there were 6 private. Okay. So anyway, the story is that this guy was in an elevator, and the elevator attendant, they used to have attendants in the older days for the elevators. It was a white woman. And I'm not sure why, because this town is kind of a black town. But anyway, whatever. They probably said, whatever, who cares? And I guess the story was that the elevator shifted somehow, and the guy banged up against the lady, and then she came out screaming, rape, right? And then they called in the army, not the army, I'm not sure who they called in, but they were bombing the place. And I've seen different counts of how many people died. 300. I've heard somebody say 3,000. They don't even know, because they killed all these people and then just buried them in mass graves. And I was just watching another video about, they dug up around the cemetery. They dug up and they found hundreds of bodies. So hundreds of bodies, and that was some official newspaper I was just reading. I'm not sure which one it was, but it was hundreds. They found them outside, so they found hundreds of bodies. How much is hundreds? At least 2. They're saying only 3. A lot of official ones will just say only 300 people died. and 10,000 people were out of homes and all these different things. Like, it's crazy. They look like this one video looked like it had a camp set up for people that didn't have homes, like in camp. A lot of people will call this the Black Holocaust, but they won't say that. This is more of a Holocaust than the actual, what they call whatever. But if you look up the word Holocaust in the dictionary, which I guess I could do, and I have done, it doesn't say, oh, this thing that happened here. It's an event. It's like a event that takes place. It's not like any specific event. It means of kind of like a terrible, thing. I mean, I guess I could get the dictionary out, but look it up if you want. But it's not a specific event. It's like something that can happen that's a horrible event. You know what I mean? It doesn't mean, oh, that thing that happened to those people. No, it was way worse. And so anyway, black people had it so bad. So this town was crazy. It was so beautiful. And I guess these people, the kind of like the whole United States almost seemed like it was jealous because they set the thing up and it was totally supported. They were being bombed it was kind of like by our own people, you know what I mean? By America, by us. Like, the whole town was taken out. They had theaters, they had everything. They had hospitals. The 2 hospitals were taken out. All the people had to go to white hospitals because the black hospitals were taken out. And they're saying all this stuff happened because some guy shifted up against a white chick. And I think, like, a lot of these stories are so made up. I don't even think that happened, personally. Even the story about Emmett Till, which I don't want to be disrespectful to anybody, but I don't believe that lady came out and said that it didn't even happen. She wrote a book. She's still alive. I told some kids I was a teacher. And I told these kids they were doing this report. It was African American Month. Yay, we get a month. Well, we have this whole place. It's all ours. Anyway, so yeah, I told the kids, I go, it was on the news one morning. It was like, oh yeah, she came out, she wrote a book saying, he never really heard her and did anything to her. So I'm like, okay, so either it didn't actually happen, it was just a big hype, another false flag story in the newspaper, because they had been doing it for, they didn't just start false flags, guys, they've been doing it for hundreds of years. That's why all our wars start like that. Even my ex, he was Serbian, whatever. I told him, how come they said that stuff about World War II? In World War II, the war was supposedly started by one guy who did one thing, and then it started the whole, and I go, dude, that story's probably made up. That guy probably didn't even exist. And all of a sudden it hit us both like, whoa, it probably didn't, because I'll say something and all of a sudden I'll realize it's real. I'm like, oh my gosh. And so the Black Wall Street was totally real. The bank there had so much money, they took the bank out and then none of the people got their money. It was just like gone. Like, and there's other Black Wall Streets in America, and I'm sure they have similar stories. I thought there was more Black Wall Streets actually on that day, and I thought I heard something about it, but I don't want to say it now if I'm not, 100%. So, but there's a lot, and a lot of things happen like that across the country. But this, is a big, huge thing. It's totally supported. You never hear anything about like this in a school, ever. I had to totally find out on my own. And I've read so many books. I've read thousands of books, okay? Since I was a little kid, since I was 7 years old, till now, you know what I mean? Like, I heard about this like 2-3 years ago. And I know most people don't even know about it. It's like, they killed lots and lots of black people. If you look in this one dictionary, it's like it's some kind of Jewish Bible or something. They have this thing about all the black people, Ethiopians and Libyans, and how they're from this place, and how this one person in the Bible is their father of all these black people, but it leaves out, but not the Negros. It says he's the father of all these people, Ham. He's the father of all these peoples, but not the Negros, because we're the Negros from America, and we're a different type of people. We are similar, but we're different people, and supposedly we're the chosen people, but, don't get upset at me. I'm finding this out. We've been held down. They don't want us to know this, so we can't, find out. But there's so many different things they've been using to cover it up. That's why they don't say it in school, because otherwise we don't know. They don't show you these pictures of Black Wall Street. I was going to tell you to watch one particular video or another particular video on YouTube to find out about Black Wall Street. But there's so many cool videos, and you see all these black people, and they're all together. And what happened with black community was desegregation. You know what I mean? Because when we were segregated, we did really, really, really well together. We do a thing called, I guess it's called ma'at, and it's like this style of living that you just like support each other. Sort of like where I'm living now. I live with a few people on this one property, whatever, and we all make sure, that we're all taken care of. Nothing, you know what I mean? That's the same thing. Like, you got to do that. And in the society we live in, they make us believe that that's not what we are supposed to do, that we're all supposed to be against each other, and like black people are all losers, and but meanwhile they're making us losers by taking away our birthright to our own land. We're from here. I'm pretty sure if you really look into your family history, you'll find out you're from here. They did things like Black Wall Street, and then they don't want to restore stuff. They want to say reparations and tell us we're from Africa, but that's why we feel weird, because we're like, are we from Africa? I think there are some black people, some Americans. There's a story about the Igbo tribe, and they might have been run out of America, and then they are still part of or something like that. And it's weird, because I think somebody in my family actually had a blood test, and it did say that tribe, and I was like, I don't think so, because we're all from here. But if that happened, that happened. They say something about the Hebrews, blah, blah, blah. But, a lot of people call this thing in Oklahoma, Little Africa, this place, or whatever. I don't know how they got that name, or if that's the truth, or what, if that's what it's called. But all these black people were doing very well. All these American people that from America, black, they say we're indigenous here. We've been here thousands, hundreds of thousands of years. But look into it. You might even just be getting feelings in your body of that's what you're from and stuff. Kind of cool to look into it. And it may just be coming out because it's kind of coming out more into what we call the collective. That means more people start to know about something, the more people start to know about it. You know what I mean? Like, so your family could have easily had been done in from that, family members could be done in from Oklahoma. I had my aunt was born in 1928 in Indian Territory, Oklahoma. I'm not even sure exactly what area that is in Oklahoma, but that was a little after race riots. My grandma was born in 1910, and so she got married when she was 14 in 1924, and they lived in Oklahoma. So I don't know exactly where. I'm still trying to find out exactly. Now it's called Broken Bow or something, or I don't know if it's still called Broken Bow. So it's not easy because they change the names of places, and then you lose your whole identity. And then they'd say, oh, this burned up in this fire. Oh, like the Chicago fire. That same day as the Chicago fire, the same exact day as the Chicago fire, there was another fire. I want to do the lady some good, because that lady that said stuff about, the Mandela effect. The same day as the Chicago fire was a thing called the Peshtigo fire. And 10,000 people, some estimates say, died over there. 200 people died in Chicago. All these people died on the same day. They don't even talk about it. There's some kind of weird, I think there was some kind of weird fire, event. I don't know what happened, but it was weird. And it's kind of close to Chicago, I think, too. It's not it's very weird. The Peshtigo fire, look it up. It was the same day as the Chicago fire. But we never hear about it, right? So, look into Black Wall Street, just to know about it. It's to know about all the communities in America that were thriving. More young black people need to see this. Not everybody always uses the poor housewives or the whatever. TV's horrible. They have totally brainwashed us with TV and movies and books. Books, I know I read them all. I'm kind of pissed off at books. So, you know what I mean? They brainwashed us with a lot of stuff, but you have to go in it with a different mindset or whatever. Go in it with the trying to learn something, not just oh, I'm going to a movie for entertainment. But look at the movie. What are they showing you in the movie? Do they keep showing globes? I don't believe the earth is round. Sorry, I'm stupid, whatever, if you don't agree, but I don't think I am. So, you know what I'm saying? If they keep showing globes in every single movie, why do they need to keep showing the globe all the time? You know what I mean? That's what I noticed. I'm okay, why do they need to keep shoving it down my throat, and it's in every classroom, and every this, and every that? Okay, so what's the big deal? Why do you have to keep, shoving it, if it's already round, and we all know it's round? Why do we have to see it every 10 seconds? It's a little suspect to me. I know, a little off topic, but everything's a part of everything, I believe. So, look into it. We got the Black Wall Street. I think it's very interesting, and we need to know about it. Nobody talks about it, right? So I want to say, everybody, I've been having fun with my channel. Thanks for subscribing if you do. And peace and wholeness. I'm out. Later.